A day after emergency was reimposed in Sri Lanka, now we're given to understand that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has resigned. Protests have been going on in that island nation for months now, demanding the resignation of not just the Prime Minister but President Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well. For now, we're given to understand that the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has stepped down. Srinjoy Chaudhary with me for more on this. Srinjoy, the Rajapaksa family has ruined the country and has pushed it into this economic turmoil, is what Sri Lanka believes. It's not going to end with the resignation of Mahinda Rajapaksa alone.
Yes, at this point, the only Rajapaksa left is the president himself, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Mahinda, his brother, elder brother, was also president. He was prime minister this time. And the economic ruin that has happened because of several decisions, like not using chemical fertilizers, not allowing tourists, has led to a slowdown in agriculture. So there's no food, there is no medicine, there is no foreign exchange, there is no fuel, and the people are on the streets. So as a result, despite emergency, there is a huge problem. But the question is whether these resignations will actually help, because the economic situation is so bad. There has to be a huge effort to actually turn things around. And how that will happen is interesting to see, because there seems to be no way this can happen at this point. So the serious economic crisis continues, and that's a huge worry for Sri Lanka, because there are millions of people who are troubled. The fact that there are no medicines in the hospitals is something that is worrying the entire population.
Absolutely. The protests have been going on there in that island nation, Srinjoy, for weeks together now. The economic turmoil that we are seeing in Sri Lanka is perhaps the worst it has faced in its history. And just yesterday, in fact, emergency was reimposed by the president, something that world powers had also come out and reacted to and condemned.
Yes, undoubtedly. See, if you have emergency, what happens? At best, all these demonstrators, there are fewer of them on the streets. But the economic problem continues. If there are no medicines in hospitals, if there are no foods in stores, if there are no tourists, if there is no tea to export, then what happens? Clearly, the economy is very, very badly affected, like there never has been. So what is required is an economic turnaround, some way of helping Sri Lanka. India has tried, India has helped with fuel and other things. But at this point, just a resignation will not help, in a sense that the people who are angry, and they will stay angry regardless of whether the Prime Minister resigns or not.
Shilpa also now joins us live. Srinjoy, stay on with me now. Shilpa, we've seen the kind of reaction coming to the fore from Tamil Nadu as far as helping in terms of humanitarian aid for Sri Lankans is concerned. Mahinda Rajapaksa, we're given to understand, has resigned. His brother, the president, still continues to be at the helm of affairs, and the crisis is not going to end anytime soon.
Well, that's right. In fact, Sri Lankan media is, of course, reporting that Mahinda Rajapaksa has resigned as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. This after today, of course, violent clashes took place. It erupted between, these clashes, of course, erupted between pro-government protesters and anti-government protesters. At least 17 of them have been hospitalized. Island-wide curfew has been imposed, and military and army has been, of course, called in to control the situation. Very, very dramatic visuals, of course, coming in from Sri Lanka, because, you know, for the last couple of days, there have been massive protests that have been taking place across Sri Lanka against the current government, because they believe that it's the policies of the government.
Right, and we've seen several videos come to the fore even today where protesters were beaten back black and blue for hitting the streets against the Rajapaksa family. For the moment, Shilpa, thank you so much for getting us the very latest from that island nation. Time for a quick break here on this edition, but lots more lined up for you on Times Now. Be back in just 2 minutes.